have to just watch this from abroad as his tribe embarks on another Age of Empires campaign. So he'll be rolling over on their mythical map, listening to Curtis and Mike talk about Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, and
I was going to say before we get into the basketball of it all, you mentioned some nerdy things. Let's get into back into the best Breaking Bad episode debate.
oh
I'm
goody,
kidding, I'm
yes,
kidding, Julian. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. We'll come back to that at the end of the episode
yeah, we got you.
once again. Okay, so yeah, full disclosure, I was not able to watch the game live, but I am back home now. Been home for a bit. Tried to get all the recaps and highlights that I could. So here we are. Mike, give me your brief. I mean, as brief as you want. Give me as much as you need. What happened today
A
to
good,
someone who didn't watch the game?
I would say a good Tiger win. We hit a lot of free throws. Um, Trent Pierce, with his first start, I think that is a must moving forward. Opened up 13-4 right out of the gate, so um, loved every second of that. Got a little hairy there
Squirrely.
toward the end, but thankfully um, Mississippi State couldn't get out of their own way with turnovers and just a bunch of empty possessions when the Tigers went cold. So um, I'm here for it. It's a very typical Mizzou home win.
They had going through the box score now. Uh, I feel like everyone knew that Hubbard is going to shoot a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Epps also tends to shoot a lot this season. Josh Hubbard and Jaden Epps combined for 40 field goal attempts.
They were not afraid to chuck that ball up. That's
And they
for
made
sure.
16 out of 40, which isn't horrible. What isn't great though is they were 7 for 20 on threes, which again isn't horrible, but it just seemed like the Mississippi State didn't have a ton of options to go to. It was just, hey, we're gonna let these guys beat Mizzou, which we have complained a lot about, where we tend to let one or two guys beat us. We always complain about letting the other team's best players just absolutely cook. And it seems like they just had an okay day. And like you said, maybe couldn't get it out of their own way at some points. Was there much more to it than that? Or, again, we made it
No,
interesting, but give me your slightly deeper
I
take.
think Hubbard only had like 4 or 5 points in the first half, and then
And then was
rattled
just
off.
chucking it.
Yeah, then rattled off I think 17 or 18 in the second half. So I guess he was going to get his. But yeah, they were both of them. Yeah, looking at the box score now, um, we're not afraid to shoot the ball. That is for damn sure.
40 field goal attempts between two players in college is nuts.
Yeah, and an additional 20 from three. So
Look, it is what it is. There are nights where I kind of wish that like Mark Mitchell and whoever has the hot hand would just shoot 40 times for us, right? Like, hey, let's simplify this. We might actually be able to pull out some of those random games that we struggle with. But yeah, beyond that, like, what do you think that what if anything you mentioned like the hot start, you mentioned Pierce
mm-hmm.
starting today, and he had a good game. What else did the Tigers do well?
Free throws. I mean, that was 25 of 33. Um, got to the line a lot. Um, Not a ton of turnovers either. Only 10. So that, and then compared to um, Mississippi State's 14. So just in general, not a ton of turnovers. Um, I would say you're
Pretty
very,
clean game.
yeah, but you're very typical seven people who contributed to the game. Phillips, Barrett, Pierce, Mitchell, Stone, and then Ant, Cruz.
Ant with 23 minutes today
I know.
after I mean getting absolutely shellacked online after the last game. I mean, some of the stuff I saw was not very kind. But 23 minutes today, 9 points, 2 for 7 from the field, 0 for 4 on three. How did you feel Ant did today?
I think for his role, I'm going to dive into Ant a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but I
Sorry for
think for
jumping the
his
gun on it.
no. This is perfect. I think with the slump, to call it, that he's in, like you don't, sipping that white wine, um, that brings me back. Um, uh, I think it was Sunvolt's. Like you don't forget how to play basketball. You just have to figure out, what is not working, and obviously, I mean, the generic response is just fix it. But I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. Much like you, seen a lot of that hate, not hate, but just like the frustration. I think really starting to boil over because, um, like we talked about back in October, November when we started, like he was hailed as this, top 25, projected player. This, he's going to really each year he's really progressed, but then it seemed like last year was his peak, and then he's now kind of in the middle.
Through the last game, yeah, for sure.
I mean, Barrett has taken the reins and has my full my full confidence. I've kind of not done a 180 on him. I was a little suspect at the beginning of the year, but maybe
To
yeah, maybe that bit of the opposite was the fact that Tio was going in for just flashes in the pan and then coming right out, but then Barrett's really got that confidence. 30 minutes, 16 points. I'm gonna do my old get comfortable here.
oh, there you go.
3 of 11 from the field, 50% from the three, 8 from 8 from the free throw line. Like that's like your model point guard who is taking the reins in an SEC offense, and just a SEC team in general. Like that's what you want to see. Like that was, um, I guess, Ant to some extent
I'd like
from
to
last year.
see 3 for 11 isn't great, but I know what you mean. That's you
Yeah,
can live with that.
and he's putting up very comparable. I mean, he's right at 4 assists. That's basically what Ant was. 3 turnovers, give or take, right in the same realm. Um, Not as much, um, on the, I would say, just the overall defensive aspect. 1 steal, um, but he got 8 rebounds. So
Huge.
yeah, nothing but praise. Cruz seems to just he's I read something interesting. Like he doesn't he's just basically average on defense. Like I think that the constant narrative of, oh, he's not good on defense or anything like that, and I'll certainly fall on my sword. I definitely was a Cruz homer, that he was bad or average at defense, but the numbers don't lie. He's just average at the end of the day, and if he's not scoring, um, then he he's not. I don't think he can start. But like again, if he's when he's got that hot hand, um,
Yeah.
then it's the generic armchair quarterback. Well, he's got to be out there. He's hitting 5 threes. Well, it's like we don't know if you're going to get that. He went 2 of 3 from the three, um, today.
He's defensively he's one of those guys that at least in my opinion, it goes a little bit beyond the box score. I hate to even like use that phrase, but again, it's not what he does possession in, possession out. It's one of those things where like we have been trying to find a drought buster on offense, right? Like when we are
Yeah,
cold, who can come in and hit a shot. He at times has been a drought buster on defense, I think. Again, like the analytics aren't going to show this, but it's just the eye test. Like sometimes he's the only dude fighting for a rebound. Like it's those effort plays, and I know it doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of your team, but I'll take a guy who's at least fighting hard. Regarding Cruz, I mean, from that aspect, and To, from what was able to see, once I got home, like the last hour and a half, and from what's getting texted, he seems to be coming into his own like really well, like almost kind of what Julian was saying he was going to be. It's unfortunate that Julian's not here to kind of like confirm again. 3 for 11 from the field. I don't love that, but I think he's been playing with uh, a controlled aggression, which is good for him. Like he's been driving with a purpose. Things like that. Which boy, when we are slumping, is something that we desperately need. Someone who can kind of control the ball, get to the hoop, make aggressive drives, yada yada yada. Um, you said you had more on Ant. Do you want to get to that now?
Yeah, let me just
If
pull
you
it
want to
up.
get up your Mr. Egghead numbers here. But yeah, that's I don't know. That's been my take on To the last like I don't know, I guess like 3 games. Um, Even against Bama, like dude, that entire second half, I said it on the reaction pod after that. I'm throwing it out the window. Like that cannot, and I hope the team did too. Like that is not. You do not want to look at that other than for like, hey, if someone did something really stupid, let's clean that up, and those players should be told about that individually. But in general, toss that second half out the window because that was disgusting. But other than that, I thought To actually was playing really well in the first half for most of that. I thought he played really, really well. That would have been Oklahoma the game before. So I'm maybe coming around on the To train, but it's nice. You brought up Ant and what was it that just some other sport comparison. To me, it almost feels like a hitter that just has lost his way at the plate. And it's like you made it to Major League Baseball. You hit 285 last year, and all of a sudden you can't hit the broadside of a barn with that bat. You know how to hit a ball. You need to figure out what you're doing. Just simplify your approach. Figure out. Start with what am I doing wrong, and then you can get back to like what can I excel at.
Hmm.
But you gotta start somewhere. And so Ant, at least, I don't know, maybe he's starting to simplify things a little bit instead of going full panic yips mode. Boy, we've made a lot of baseball comparisons regarding Ant Robinson, but I just don't
Maybe
know where else to go.
maybe we'll be a Mizzou baseball podcast in a couple weeks. Um,
Jeez. Hey, national champions, baby.
but I'll
1960? I don't know.
I'll I'll share what I.
Here we go. Sharing some screen. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey,
There we go.
I'll preface for those watching now or watching later. These stats are not his last five are not going to account for
Tonight.
tonight. But what's interesting is he fell right in line with his last five, minutes per game. Last five prior to tonight, he was 20 minutes. Tonight, he was 20 minutes. Points per 40 minutes. Um, he was at 7.9. Probably will see a little bit of an uptick because he had 9 points tonight. But what I was, as all this ant talk has been percolating, the better part of the month, essentially, I started looking at uh, in CBB analytics. Shout out their data; they have really, really good, like individual player data. Um, and what I started looking at was basically this all-in-one per warp full season number. Um, and I'm not going to go down these, tangents about what they mean, but the 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 per is like the player. I think it's a player efficiency, like ranking.
Yeah.
Right now, he's a 14, and clicking back to last season, he ended at a 21.5. That number basically only encompasses positive things that you do. It throws everything, who you're playing with, who you're playing against. It throws that in, just it's like a raw positive contribution number essentially, and you can. I'm not going to read that whole thing, but
No, but for the
John
for like
Hollander.
audio listeners, his PER, like player efficiency rating, was 21.5 last year. It's dipped to what,
14 point
14
yeah
this year.
14.5, yeah.
What in your mind is a where would you like him to be? Is 20's good, right? Like 20, if he was still a 20 this season, that would mean he's still playing well, like we saw last season, right? Maybe we obviously wanted him to see a little bit of improvement, you know,
Yeah, I think I
but 20 seems pretty good.
yes, 21 is very good. I think an average is like right around 15. And I can look that up to verify it, so I'm not you know spewing shit out of my ass again. Um, but it just shows that drop off. Like obviously you're watching this drop off, and the first few games, it's like, okay, what's going on, and then it's compounded into 31 days essentially, of him kind of falling off. Um, and I don't. No one's. I haven't read anything. Um, Gates hasn't really said a definitive factor
And he
or any.
wouldn't, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree, but it shows, even like you look at Evan Mia's, um, like Bayesian offense and defensive ranking. His offense has just pecked down game after game slowly, and here it kind of, now you're able. It helps just to be able to
You can
quantify it.
quantify it a bit,
Yeah.
but putting like I don't want to ignore the numbers. We can continue to look at those, but I just want to ask you point blank, like putting the numbers aside for a second, what do you think is the main thing he's struggling with? Like we've said, he's like, if it seems like he's got the yips. Like it sometimes looks like he's running around. Like I made the comparison before, and I saw somebody else tweet it the other night that like he looks. It looks like when the Monstars stole the NBA players' talent,
Yeah.
and they're just dribbling it off their foot. They can't make a shot. He airballed a free throw the other night.
I
Like
mean,
it's like, so what in your mind is like, just from an eye test, like forgetting the numbers, just briefly, like would you say is the reason?
he you obviously you can't take away what he did last year, um, but I wonder how much of it is like, was there an overperformance last year, and really he's just a really good, that 14 to 15, 16, per
Yeah,
number,
PER
and
rating. Yeah,
not a 21. Because if he was playing even a couple points higher, and maybe this week when we have a dead week, or a little break, maybe we can like dig into a little bit more of that and see like what's going wrong in some capacity. I don't think there's just not enough. I don't have enough time to dig through all old tape and all that stuff, but I know I said it in the past that like maybe the way we played last game mixed with a little bit of this game, like we're just as a team maybe the variance, like we're just a good average team that can play punch above their weight class when things are right. And I know that's a long answer and probably not the answer you're looking for with
no,
Ant, but maybe that's
No, I think
Maybe
that's a very worthwhile point that like maybe you're essentially like let me put words in your mouth like or let me grok summarize what you just said is that maybe Ant just never was as actually as good as that stretch that we saw from him last year, right? Is that
perhaps,
essentially
yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah,
Yeah, you're bringing that up as a possibility. I'm not saying that you're
in a
saying
in a
that. Yeah,
roundabout way. Yes,
I think
that's
that's seems maybe fair at this point, given the struggles that he's had recently. But when you see somebody have flashes as good as his were last year, then by the same token, we know he's capable of it.
yes,
So it's troubling to see such an extended period of struggling from a guy that you know is capable of being not just a decent player, but a you know very good player in this conference. So it's a kind of a guessing game trying to figure out maybe what's been going wrong with him. Because yeah, I was just asking like eye test, and it's like man, again, it really I don't have anything better than just like it kind of looks like he had the yips, like he's just a little scared.
yeah,
He doesn't trust his own game anymore, and that's part of developing as a basketball player. You're an athlete in any sport, really. Like you're gonna have times where you struggle, and what you are used to doing that used to be successful isn't working anymore. So
yeah. I mean, like even looking back at his like splits from, and I don't mean to make this the Ant show. Um, yeah, but Glenn, yeah, he probably reverted back to his mean is probably exactly what it is and all, you know, for simplicity's sake. But even like last year, he averaged 23 minutes a game, so he's right in line with right around that average. Give or take. Same with the assists. Um, Same with steals, right in line. Turnovers, right in line. Really, his biggest like he shot 48 percent from the field last year. He's shooting 41 this year. He shot 40% from the three last year. He's shooting 27 or 28%. So
his shooting is basically not just fallen off. You could say fallen off a cliff recently,
and yeah,
in my
like
opinion.
those yeah the splits. I think I sent out a tweet. No, I don't want to upgrade a fucking premium. Um, Fucking Twitter.
Like I said, you've got me. I'm Grok
Yeah,
summarizing your points for you. No one needs a blue check at this point.
yeah. Like pre going into this game was averaging a plus minus of -10 average. Um, he was at
That's not good.
four turnovers, 10% from the three, 27 effective field goal, but that's like right in line with kind of perhaps this average. And yeah, maybe we'll do like a further deep dive and just like all these players um, in
Yeah, yeah.
general. Like I
Midweek, we've got an off week, so
I mean I know Cruz is because of that hot start, and how much of that is just the 8 games of playing nobody, and when you're hitting five six threes a game, getting 20 plus points, like it's fucking awesome. But then as soon as that competition level ramps up, like that's gonna decrease. Like overall, like Cruz to his his PER um, is 4 points higher than what it was last year. Um, Little bit higher in defense, about a point higher. Um, this year he gets into the positive range for kind of his all-in-one rating, so to speak.
are there
But
is
his
there
usage,
anybody else? I mean, I know we've got a lot of transfers. Is there anybody else whose PER number is uh had a noteworthy change, I guess, from last year to this year?
mm, right off the cuff, like a good positive would be Cruz. Um, and I'm
Really,
looking at
from last year to yeah,
yeah, he
I
had a four
guess.
point higher. Mitchell had a is a 2 point difference in a positive.
What was Mitchell last year to this year?
This year he's 23 and a
Yeah,
half.
okay, so that's that's
Last
that's
year,
good.
last year
So
21.7.
he was still awesome. So he was that to say Ant's PER last season was pretty close to Mitchell's,
Yeah,
and then now Mitchell's is 10 points higher than him.
yeah, but that's a good like segue. Like that shows like Mitchell. There's his variance on like a good game to bad game. Like he's gonna get his points. Like that's a predominant way that we've been scoring all season.
I mean, Bama was like honestly like, and he got his in the second half, kinda, but it didn't matter. Um, I think Bama was the most I've seen him like shut down in a long time, and I mean like maybe back until last season, like where he was on the floor and just couldn't contribute. And we've seen, this is another thing I wanted to ask you about. I've seen a lot of chatter online. There's a lot of people. It's not a hot take that the spacing on the floor with Phillips and Mitchell both out there. I don't know how much you and Julian talked about this before I was able to hop on the other night, but is that something you think is a problem? Like something that could be hindering Mitchell, or because I'm not super concerned about it. I know it looks ugly sometimes when Mitchell is wants to get one on one down low, and you've got this big dude just like posting somebody up.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that it's basketball, and that you can take any number of possessions from any game, and they're going to look ugly, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think just the style, this dribble drive motion offense, for simplicity's sake, that we basically run, that almost every team in America is running a motion offense in some capacity now with intricate sets, sprinkled in here or there or whatever. But um, maybe. I mean, it's nice having a big down low that Mitchell's going to get his 6 to 10 points down low, and then if, when Mark's catching the ball out 10, 12 feet from the rim, it certainly opens it up. Um,
Yeah, I don't think it's as simple as like, oh, the lane's clogged, Mark can't get down. Like, there's
no, no,
multiple factors that go into all this stuff.
yeah. This week I'll pull everything up. We can kind of go through each one because it is interesting. Like, just it's not like the visual slump. It's like no, there's clearly
No, it's been a what a
yeah.
what a week and a half for this basketball team. Like
It's yeah,
we've
it's
really gotten it all.
yeah. We're a chaotic. Um,
I guess going back to what it was Georgia, Oklahoma, Bama, and then today.
yeah,
So close loss at home against a ranked team, and then a huge win against a team that was like 1-5 in conference play, that needed two buzzer beaters to do it, and then a blowout loss on the road to a ranked team, and then pulling out a close one at home. Like Julian says it all the time. What do we make of these guys? Like I really don't know.
yeah. No, you
Um,
don't.
but I did get a text from Alexa at one point. I didn't. It was absolutely freezing at the soccer game I was at early. So when I finally got my phone, I saw a text from her saying, "Believe it or not, the Tigers just hit 7 free throws in a row." I thought she was lying to me. Cause like, hey, it's one of those things like we talked about earlier. Okay, now you've proven that you're capable of it. And we know that all these dudes are capable of making a higher percentage of free throws than they actually have this season. But like, there is no excuse for them to go out and shoot 35% from the line ever again, or even 50% from the line as a team, in my opinion. We know you guys can
Yeah,
hit free throws.
no, it's yeah, very
You're
very
not bad at
true.
basketball. You can shoot. It's like it's probably just mental at this point. And so I have to take the side of like, dude, if they're missing free throws, it's not that like, oh, that's just like a weakness in our game. We're gonna accept that as like, a weakness. Like, no, no, no. Nobody should accept the free throw shooting that we've been like seeing for the last few weeks against us. Uh, we do have an off week coming up here. This is a home win against Mississippi State. We don't have too much to talk about, so we get a midweek bye, and so we come back next Saturday on the road at South Carolina, and then our next game is midweek, I believe, on the road at who's it, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Double check that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, back-to-back Texas
Back
games.
to back road games.
Well, we're at Texas A&M. We're away.
We're
Texas,
at
we're
South
home.
Carolina, then at A and
Oh,
M
wait, yeah, sorry.
midweek, and then home Texas. Yeah, the next weekend. So looking ahead, I know we've talked about this ad nauseum, but it's because the team is so bipolar. Are all these must wins?
Yeah, I
At
don't
this
know.
point, if we
I'm
want
at
if
a
we want to continue the whole postseason dream, which whatever, but
I'm kind of at a um, honestly I don't know what to make of the bracketology. We're hoping to get someone on this week to clear up this muddy mess of um, bracketology. But I mean, my gut, and maybe there's something, I'm not a big bracketology guy, but if you go to uh, bracketmatrix.com, there's 101 brackets that this website tracks, and it ranks. You can go into the ranking uh, tab, and it shows how accurate these guys are, and they give out awards or whatever.
all right,
This
for our audio listeners, don't worry. I don't understand anything I'm seeing any more than you do listening.
it Yeah, my gut is saying yes, these are all win. You have to win, not win out, but you can't. You have to maybe
Because
win a
we
game.
are we are at this point. This is will be updated probably tomorrow, right? So this is not counting today's games.
Yeah,
We are in the we're out.
we're at the at large. Well, there's 20 brackets out of 101 that have us at a other at large. So it probably going in at an 11. Um, so it's, I mean, CBS. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
big
yeah,
big
yeah.
guys that have us in at an 11. I guess I just don't, to do the proverbial Michael talk out of both sides of my mouth. Like I really want them selfishly to get into the tournament, but it seems like every time on you know the the game they're always mentioning oh, we got to win, kind of got to win this, or man, that non-con schedule not capitalizing. So like I don't see how we get in, but for anyone that's out there listening, chime in your opinion. um,
I I don't see how we're still even in the conversation, to be honest with you.
yeah, I'm I'll bet college basketball till I'm blue in the
Yeah.
face, but I will not. I just don't understand
Those people pay way more attention than we do,
um,
but
to of the net. I mean, I understand like the quad wins, and I understand that shit, but I also I it's yeah it's at the end
it's
of the day, like to put on my tinfoil hat is getting cleaned up right now, but to put on my tinfoil hat, like we would be fools not to think that the NCAA is very invested in making sure particular teams of certain stature and certain fan bases and will they travel and all that shit make into the tournament, and why some of these mid-major schools and Ivy League schools get the shaft every year. Um,
fair.
Last year, UNC is a good example. They were not a tournament team at all, but they make it in as an 11. They win.
Win
Next thing
the playing game, right?
yeah. Next thing you know,
I'm
Tar
sorry, the
Heel.
first 4 game. Yeah,
Yeah,
my bad.
the Tar Heel Nation's gonna travel.
Yeah.
Good for ratings. So like I just I don't know. Like it's such a
We
weird.
could we could luck out in that way, but I just don't even I don't think we should even be in the conversation at this point. So all that to be said, my opinion is that we need to minimum go 2-3 in these games, but realistically, 3-0. If you want to actually be a tournament team, not sneak in and get lucky, which is kind of what we're talking about, of like getting the benefit of the doubt, getting the benefit of having a fan base that'll maybe travel if you put them in the Midwest bracket. If you want to actually be a tournament team, win these 3 games at South Carolina. Shoot, I know it's on the road in the SEC, but guess what? You screwed up enough games. You got to win. We have yet to have a losing record in conference play this year, which is delightful. But at some point, you need to boost those numbers back up. You need to get 2 games over 500, 3 games over 500 in conference play if we want to get to that, 11-7 or 10-8 number that you know we think we might need to sneak our way into the tournament. That's kind of all I got regarding this game and regarding the next week or so. Obviously, we'll have something midweek. Um, breaking down what's been happening recently much more, and then also kind of previewing stuff on a deeper level. But our esteemed leader has been uh, you know eating francesinhas over in Portugal. So what are we gonna do? So that's all I got. I think you're muted. Yep, Mike's muted. Here we go. Curdy Solo Hour. Here we are on the
Oh
Howard
no,
Stern Radio Show.
I had a lot of background noise.
Yeah, we both do, dude. Our setups are. I'm still sitting on the freaking floor, dude. It's not a good situation.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, but the bracketology fascinates me. It to kind of to close that door and to then open up a Breaking Bad door after this. That yeah, it just yeah, how much do you throw? This is just a genuine like question, just throwing it out to the ether and to the chat and to whoever's listening and watching down the road. Like, do you know is the committee throwing out all the these cupcake games, and then do they put the the microscope under the Minnesotas, the Kansas, the Illinois, like, and then obviously then you look at conference play and open it up against Kentucky and Florida, so like a huge boost.
How much does it come down to like us losing at the buzzer to Notre Dame? Like if we don't lose to Notre Dame and our only non-con is just the blowout losses to Kansas and Illinois, it's like
Yeah,
you can kind of forgive those, but it's like, hey man, it seems like every time they played legitimate competition,
yeah, and
didn't
I'm
really go
sure
well.
like I will we can timestamp it. I would venture to bet that next year Mizzou plays a maybe one or two more games
We know
like
these. We know they
Minnesota.
schedule these things years in advance,
Yeah,
but the slots that may be open, I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised.
Um,
All right, Mike, I gotta bounce out of here. That's all. That's all I got. All I got. I had 40 minutes.
yeah.
Give me your last thoughts.
Hmm. Going through a Breaking Bad rewatch.
Yeah, I agree. Walt Jr. is the absolute worst. No, I'm kidding. We
I
actually
can't.
before our internet started up, we my old roommate, I'll just call him JB. Y'all know who he is. Uh, I acquired season 1 and 2 of Breaking Bad on DVD. So before our internet got set up at our new place, after we just moved, started rolling with that. Oh baby, it's so good. It's so good. But that's all I got for you. Good, it's a good win for the Tigers. Back above 500, 5-4 in the SEC. Let's keep that rolling. We got an off week, so we'll give you an episode midweek. Again with some more advanced stuff and previewing more of what's to come here with these 3 potentially winnable games. potentially must winnable games. But that's all I got for you. MIZ, Mike.
ZOU.
All right, give it to me with a little more pizzazz.
ZOU.
There we go, baby.